Let's admit everyone. Share my screen.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I believe we are live. Thanks everyone for joining on. This is the XAFers community stand-up. We do it the third Thursday of every month. We used to do it the second by a conflict on our schedule. We need to change it, but happy to have you guys here. We feature everything that is going with XAF, XPO, Blazor, and our personal projects, which are the experience in what we are working on, the new things that DevExpress is coming on. And I don't know you guys, but I'm really, really excited about the future with XAF Blazor and the possibilities that we're going to be able to achieve. As always, there is, we always say there is no agenda, but because the agenda is driven by the community. So we always try to ask you guys, what do you want us to cover next? What you guys are working on? Do you have anything to share? And no formality, no dress code required. A coffee, a beer is highly encouraged. And let's just talk of what we love and share our experience regarding XAF, XPO, Blazor, and more. I always say this, but there is a big power in the community. We get together and we make great things happen. We make this meetup, we make new content, we make videos, we are able to help each other. I would love to see at some point some type of XAF summit where we all can get in person, but due to COVID and logistic things, we have that as a dream that we at some point we hope that it comes true. I always want to encourage everyone to share more, to join the community. There is no way that we can be successful without the community together. And join us. We have, of course, our meetup where we meet once a month, but we don't have to wait the whole month. We also are in Facebook. We have a group that has already like more than 1,100 members. So feel free to ask questions, to share anything you want to. We also have the DevExpress XAF developer groups on LinkedIn, where Dennis and the community is always sharing the latest thing that is going on. Actually, if you see here, like a few hours back, there is a audit trail mode for Entity Framework Core, and it's really, really neat. We have the Gitter channel that I hope that it gets more and more members involved. There is a lot of great discussion happening here where every XAFer is helping each other. Follow XAF on Twitter. Again, this is a great place to know everything that's going on as soon as it happens. So new documentation, new examples, new relevant support center tickets right there. Please subscribe to XAFer Weekly. We finally came back to that. We had it abandoned for a little bit because life happened, but we're trying to share everything that is going on with XAF at least in the week, or at least and also with Blazor.net, because again, like those knowledge are really important. At the end, XAF application are regular Blazor application, are regular WinForm, regular web form. So it's also good to keep in touch. Also, this is not being used too much, but I would like to point it out. We have the site XAFer job. So if you guys have a request for a job, or you just please submit either resume or post a job. I think that hopefully at some point this catch up and more people use it. Right now there are 2 positions, one for a company in Brazil. They asked me to post it here, so they are looking for a XAFer in Portuguese, and then there is other one that is here in the US. I want to also congratulate Jose. Today is a 6-year anniversary of his YouTube channel. So
thanks.
I don't know you guys, but I was before meeting him, I was a hard fan. I was always watching all his video, and actually that's how I met him. So I'm grateful for all this video, all the contributions that he has done in the community. And in that regard, Jose, I haven't allowed to introduce yourself, so please do that, and we continue.
Well, I think a lot of people know me already, but anyway, my name is Jose Manuel Ojeda, Jocho Ojeda. I'm a programmer from El Salvador. I work with the companies Bit Frameworks and Sari, and I'm currently back to Russia, finally.
Nice. Jose is a DevExpress MVP and is a brilliant developer. So let's now quickly review the agenda. So our agenda today will be the introductions that we're doing. We're going to cover a few announcements about relevant support ticket and so on. We're going to talk about the main topic of today, that is migration to XAF Blazor. So let's take one of the old applications and migrate it to the new and Chinese XAF Blazor. Then we have a request about our XAF Blazor REST API to authorize it with tokens. So we'll do a quick demonstration of that. And at the end, Jose will pretty much just tease the Syn framework implementation that with the new templates and everything. And of course, more than happy to answer any questions. Anyone who wants to participate, we'll always love those things. Everything is here, all the links that we're going to talk about today. So let's start it. As always, the support center ticker is a gold mine. So please go through it. There are a lot of really nice examples. It's always being updated. It's always being improved. I always came here and select my, sorry, my daughter is making a lot of noise, hopefully. Yes, let's continue. So support center ticket has some resource, and then let's talk about a few tickets before we get to the main topic. So I actually really like this ticket is how to handle custom section. If you know, every time that we have a section in Blazor, it breaks the application. We have this application error that we're seeing here. So the only way that we could use it was through the user-friendly section. But now they are allowing us to use like custom section to actually have a better user interface. So if you see, there is pretty much just 3 steps. We add a new section service that inherits from the section service that DevExpress has, and then we pretty much register that in our startup and use it in our controller. And if we see a GIF that is right here, that section gets handled just beautiful. Let me admit. And Jose, if you see anyone asking any question on the chat, please let me know. We're gonna stop and address that.
Perfect.
So one thing that I also like to mention is this type of really easy, really simple customization. Right here, they're trying to hide the error of the numeric property editor. And if you see the code, it's pretty much just like taking the adapter and just choose pin button to file. So there are a lot of little tricks like that, that again, until we get to a more mature, like there are a few APIs that are still being developed, like the next ticket that are going to show, but there are a lot of work around it. The power that we have is that we can always intercept any part and change it. So this is the other one that I wanted to show, like Juan Bosco, one of the XAFers in the community here in the Spanish community. He was asking how we can put some actions. How can we put some actions right there on the header? And the answer as of right now is like we don't have that template customization available. So that's coming on the future. That I'm pretty sure DevExpress is working on that, but we have also know that their resources are limited, and there are a lot of great things that are coming about new modules, about new functionality, about new APIs, that because the idea is to try to get some type of analogy between WinForms, WebForms, and Blazor. So we're getting there. But in the meanwhile, one thing that is so curious is like this comment from XAFer, where he actually put the switch to turn between dark mode and light mode. And the way he did it, if we see here, he created his own custom window template. So again, just saying that this API is not available, but I always like to mention that we have complete source code of XAF Blazor. So if we go to our DevExpress Express App Blazor project, we can see it here. And if you see under templates, we have that Windows template. And if we open that Windows template, we can see here that it's having the toggle sidebar. So we can click the hamburger menu and open the navigation, close the navigation. So we have all of those. So pretty much he created his own one. And then if we can see it here, he's instantiating in the creator method, he's instantiating his own one. So we can still do this type of customization. We just need to dig a little bit deeper to understand a little bit more. And either way, that's a great advice. Go and read the source code, see how XAF is doing it, see the best practices that they are using, and you will be able to achieve this kind of things. And if you see what he did, pretty much is adding this little toggle here to switch between light mode and dark mode. So this is the power that XAF is providing to us. So, and of course, this is the other ticket where I just want to show that right now does not support customization yet. So it will come in the future, but I'm pretty sure they are working on that right now. Another ticket that I saw that I felt like really interesting, Jose, and I was talking to you about that, is like Martin Praxmer, another DevExpress MVP, he's always in the bleeding edge. He was asking a question about the action executor service. Without getting in too deep in that part, one thing that I like, it was like, if you use this class XAF action, the loading indicator is automatically shown for you. So it will treat your own action, your own hyperlink, your own as an action, and it will give you that functionality out of the box. So that's really neat in my opinion. Now, of course, right here, there is an example of how you can release it or how can you use that service in your application. Okay. Now that we're going to be talking about migration to XAF Blazor, one thing that I thought that it was really interesting was this ticket, because it's something that is known, but I think that some people get confused by this. And actually, I have this question before in the past. So I just decided to put it over here as one of the other tickets, like what happened when we're trying to couple the model editor settings over. So we are having a project and we're having a model and we want to bring that up. So I really like this answer because, again, there is no issue on you taking that XML, that XAF ML, and paste it in your other project. You just go and view the model as a code and you can paste that. And of course, that will most probably generate a lot of unusable nodes. And this was one of the discussion that was happening on the Gitter channel a few months back about the unusable nodes, sometimes making your model or your views changing. So one thing that is really important, and actually Martin Praxmer, he was saying that every time that in his project there is a unusable node, there is a big one in his company and everyone's go and check what's going on, because that will change the layout. And when you have such a huge customer base like he has, 900 companies using his ERP, think about that. That's crazy. That's something really important. So you go to that unusable node and see what would change. And if you have to adjust something, you just do it right there. So the important part here is like, yeah, you can move your model editor, just you have to be careful. You just go and check that the unusable nodes come through fine. Okay, and lastly, I wanted to mention that, again, I have seen some really old applications that are still using the security system user, that are still using the old security strategy. So it's good to also make sure that if you're thinking of doing a complete transitions, please start doing the move your security system to the new security system, move your old reports to the new report V2, and then do all the other things that you need to do. Also, for the Spanish community, I wanted to bring this Udemy course up, course about XAF and XPO. We actually have been in Udemy a lot of time and we have thinking about this, and then one of our students bring that to our attention. So it's a really basic, but I think that for someone starting, it will actually help them to get an overview of what is XAF, what is XPO, and how to use it. So if you are starting with XAF and you speak Spanish, definitely go for it. As always, read, and come back to this ticket. This ticket is this article is where everything is being updated. Right here, you will see about everything that is happening. You can also see the future plans. You can see, for example, the modules, and you can see, like, there are a lot of examples of customization. But one thing that I like, and maybe it's because I'm not expanding all of this. Let me see. Maybe it's in the roadmap, because what I like is that it can tell you. It most probably is in the roadmap. Yeah, what I like is this telling you, okay, this module has been there since 20. Right here, since 20.2.6, since 20.1. So you know of the roadmap of the future plans that DevExpress have. You know what is already there. So this is really neat in my opinion. So with that one, let's pass to the main topic of the day. I will let Jose do a migration, and Jose will do it as conservative as possible. He will try to change as little as possible on your CS project and everything else. And then we're going to create a new project in Blazor, a new project window, and do that migration as well. And then let's discuss together. Like, if you have any corner case, if you have a module that is not supported, like, we can talk about the recommendation that we will use there. And we also have Dennis here in the chat. So if we like say something that we could do better, more probably he will actually correct us right there. So Jose, please, the screen is yours.
Okay, let me share. And I'm in that difficult situation where when you only have like one monitor. So let's try to do it like this. Okay, guys. So basically, this here I have like two tests. These I work on them before, but we're going to start from the scratch today. Basically, what we have here, and I'm going to make a copy of this, and we're going to name it Meetup, is the main demo. And it's actually a kind of old demo in the sense that, let's check, is version 18. So let me load this in the studio so you can see it. Okay, so basically, this is the main demo that comes with the DevExpress installer, the universal installer. And in this case, I'm using like kind of old version, it's version 18. So at that moment, let me show you a module, for example. The module was targeting or is targeting 452. And also this type of project is not the SDK type of project. If you double click it, nothing happened. Actually, just expand the project. So if you unload it, you will see the structure. So C is an MSC build type of project. You can see it here. So we're going to migrate all of these to SDK, and even we will like migrate the web application. That web application are not officially supported by the SDK tool, but there is a way to do it manually, and there is an open source MS build type of tool that will help you to move from this format to the SDK format. So let's start. Let me close all of this and let me show you the links.
And it's good to mention, Jose, that the new SDK is so clean. If you see that MS build, there are so many tags there. It's crazy the amount of
I think they're not defaults in the MS build version, so they have to be explicit about everything in general. So that's why it's so big. So let's start. I will use this this tool. I already have it installed, and basically it's a .NET tool type of CLI command. So as you can see, is like this is how you install it, and this is the command that you have to run. In this case, they're migrating just a project, so we're going to migrate the solution completely. So I will copy this, and I will go to the folder, and let me type CMD.
And the idea of the tool is that it makes your life easier. But if you want to go manually, hand by hand, copying each folder, you are welcome to do it. It will give you more like a idea of what is everything that is happening there.
Yeah. So let's do main demo solution. So it's going to ask you for a few things. We don't want to create backup. You should create backup, but in this case, we are not going to. And if I like to modernize the project, and the answer for that is yes. And I don't want to create backup before I modernize. So far, so good. Let's go to the studio and let's reload the project. So you will see some of the changes. And in here, I'm going to load also the mobile module because I don't need it. It's not supported anymore. It's something that is legacy. So let me reload this. And what else should I unload? I will unload this too. And this one. Okay, so if we close all the windows, let's see what happened with the module. If you double click, this is the SDK type of project. So as Javier said, like this type of projects can be like a little bit more simple, but in this case, basically it sets the same defaults that it found on the original project. We can delete a lot of this, but in this case, I'm not going to do it because I don't know how your project is set up. So it might likely look like this. So you can like figure out what you need or what you don't, like taking some stuff out. But for the moment, I will leave it like this. So let me put this somewhere here. Okay, so let's check the migration nodes. So for all the projects, we have to run this tool, and this is the command. We already showed that. And then let's start with the module. So for the module, basically what we're going to do is include these few tags that we have here. So I'm going to copy them. And first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the DLLs with Nougat instead. So let's try to find the DLL section, which is this one here. I will collapse it and goodbye. And we paste this. And if you can see, like we're referencing basically all the agnostic Nougat packages for this project and the configuration manager. So let's save this. And then we also add this, and we will add this into all the projects that we don't want to generate the assembly information. So the assembly information, we can basically delete it. So from the properties folder, you just delete this. And we're going to do another change. We're going to change the target value of the framework. So in this case, it's 452, which is a little bit old. So we'll move to 462. So this is able to be compatible with the standard in general. So let's try to build it. And let's hope the demo gods are kind with us today. So, good. So far so good. So now let's go to the web project, and we're going to do basically the same. Hey, what happened with this? It only converted once. Okay, let me run the tool again.
So Hodge is showing how we're converting the CS prog to the new SDK that is needed. But also good to mention that when we're going to add a Blazor there, so we're going to put the module in Net Standard 2, not to 1, because Net Framework won't recognize, it won't recognize the Net Standard 2+1. And of course, now with Net 5, it will be Net 5, the actual better solution. Because, but we want to mention all of those because I know that there are still some XAFers that are not Net Core 3.2.1. There are some, again, not everyone is in the latest and greatest.
Let's see what happened here. Copy this again. And okay, we don't want to create backup. We want to modernize. We want to create backup, and let's see. Reload all. And it's still the same. Maybe my studio is not. I will close it. So let's do it again. I think this is like basically my studio is complaining, but it should not give you these problems, guys, because I did it like 3 times before, and it was like kind of really easy. So and let's give it a try again. Okay, the module is still working. Let's see module web. Oh, okay, now it's working, and yeah, all of them are working. Perfect. So yeah, something happened with the studio. So let's close all the tabs and let's continue the migration. So let's go to the web module. And in here, we're going to do basically the same type of idea. So we're going to stop generating the assembly information and add the Nougat packages. And also in this case, we need a reference to a DLL, which is system web. So I'm going to copy all of this, and I will find the assembly section and I will remove it. I will paste this and I will change the target to 462. And then I need to delete the properties. And let's see. So far, so good. Okay, so we have 2 projects already. Let's do the third one, which is the Windows one. So again, the same case is you need a reference to a DLL, which is System Windows Forms, because there is no Nougat for that. And then we will add reference to all the Nougats packages for the Windows platform in this case, and we will generate assembly info equals false. So let's copy this. Let's find the assembly section. Let's delete this and let's paste. Then change the target.
It's good to mention, Jose, that we're using here a main demo, but if you have your own Nougat or you have another reference to another library, make sure you don't delete those, or make sure that you actually. And I know that also some all projects are still using package.config, so make sure that you update that one to package reference. And we will show some links after Jose's demo, but I just wanted to, while you are talking about that part, just let that in there.
So in here we have a small error, and this error is because it's the main demo. So it includes some other classes that are not usually there in a XAF application. So what we're going to do for this is just going to comment this out. We don't actually need it. And let's comment this also out. And let's compile. And I think so far so good. Yes. Now let's go to the Win application. So again, it's really repetitive, but let's go and let's do the last part. So
I'm just curious, while you are doing that again, does that tool delete the assembly info? Or you have to delete it manually?
No, you have to delete it manually. So let me copy this. We need basically the Windows Forms reference, and then in here, different than this case, we need the security for XPO. So that's why we have this package also. So let's copy all of this. And let's change the target framework to 462. So it's here the other projects. Let's find the references. Let's delete this one. And let's compile again and let's try to run it. Something.
And Dennis and Alex and sharing some really great links on the chat. So everyone take a look at that, especially that Net 5 is losing support. So
yes, it's going to be
Net 4.5. Sorry, Net 5 is the future between Net 5 and Net 6, but Net 4.5. And I'm glad that they are doing this change, because again, so far until now it has been a mess. Like so many names in Net Core, Net Standard, Net Framework, 4.5, 3, 3.1, now 5. So it's good that finally it gets standardized.
Let's see, package reference. There is one that is not close.
You need a item group there, Jose. It's outside.
Well, let's copy this and let's put them in an item group. So let's put them here. And let's see. And you were totally right, Javier. So far we have basically, let's see, this is 462. Yes, so all of them are working and the references are basically working. So all the Windows part is basically migrated to SDK. So let's set this as a startup project and let's run it. And let's see, it looks like it's working. Okay, so here we have it. It's working and everything is on SDK type of project. So now let's go to the tricky part. So let me show you some links before this. So the tool doesn't convert web forms application or something that comes from system web. So basically, I found this repository in Nougat. I mean, in GitHub, and they created like an MS build type of SDK for system web. So they show you the instructions here. Basically, you can create an empty project, something like this. and then you add your references and so on and so forth. So we're going to migrate also the ASP.NET Web Forms version to SDK type of project. So for that, since it's kind of long, I already have the file prepared. So is this one here. Let me show it to you before well, let's just copy this over there. Here, let's see this one and replace. So the idea here is you start with a little simple step, which is, let's double click this. You change the original tag that was Microsoft built to this one. This one will download a Nougat and will basically allow you to change the type of project. So basically what I did is, like, in the website, they do have examples. So if you go to the examples, then you can see like empty web application. This is the one that you need to use. So you come here and then you get it from here. Basically, you copy all of this and you replace it on your project. So then you need to do a few changes. So the first that we did is put the target framework to 462, and then the references, you need to again delete the DLL references and set the Nougat references and then the project references here. And beside that, you're basically good to go. Let's try to compile this and let's see if it's working. So let's see. Okay, so this you need to remove because you don't have the reference. Let's try to compile it again. Okay, it's working. So then what you need to do is, like, since the IIS settings are going to change when you change the project type, then you need to go to the global ASACs. And here you will see some code that comes from the demo application. Actually, it doesn't, you will not see that in your regular SAF application. So let's open this. And there is a method set connection string. So what I'm going to do is, like, take out the in-memory connection string. I'm not going to connect it to the database to make it like faster in this case. And then hold on. And I'm going to comment this out. Okay, then we have to check some stuff. So let's come here to properties and let's go to build. No, sorry, is debug here. And in the profile, let's change to this one, to main demo.web, and let's put it to run in IIS. Okay, so far so good. And there is another thing that you need to do in the end, is that when you are going to, when you have to run this, you need to basically tell it, like, let's open the file system. You need to tell this directory that it can be seen by the IIS, basically permissions. So you edit this, you add permissions, and you have to add II user. So let's check name. No, let's advance, fine. And we need basically 2 users here. This one and this one. And let's, okay. Let me remove the first one. Okay, so for this, to make it simple, I will basically add all the permissions possible. The same for this one. And let's try to run this.
Okay, it's good to mention, Jose, that this is not needed to migrate to SAF Blazor. This is just so you can have your whole solution in a good state with the SDK project, with a new thing, so that way you can add nuggets if you don't want through the Jwt, just through the CS project. You can do a lot of things right away, so it's good. It's a good tool to have.
Yeah, and well, there is something that I forgot to run, which is the project converter, because this is not exactly the same version that I have installed in my system. So let's go on tools, no extensions, and then run the project converter for version 18, this one. And as Javier said, this is not necessary, but when I realized that it was possible to do, I wanted to give it a try, because I hate to have like everything on SDK and then just the web application in a different structure. So I thought that was not going to work. I tried several approaches to do this till I found that GitHub repository. So just in case, as you want to keep everything in the same type of structure, I would say, as Javier said before.
Nah, so it's also good to mention that the project converter is already working with Nougat. I know that sometimes it misses, but at least that's getting there completely.
So there you have it. Let's log in. And now the part that we want, which is basically
let's add Blazor to this project.
Add Blazor to this project. Yes. So everything is like new and modern. So let's add Blazor, because Blazor is new and modern. So let's add
and the also great thing about using Nougat also for CI/CD is really nice to be able to just have that one there. We don't have to have in our build server all the DLLs from the Express and so on. So we do have to have it in our computer if we want to access the model and things like that. But if we don't care about the model, we don't even need to use that. So if we're like Manuel, that we're using builder layouts and model layouts, so we don't need to have that installed there.
So what we're going to do is we're going to name the project main demo, the same as the main part of the name of this solution. So let's create this. And I will do it net core. And let's run this wizard. And I want to add a ASP.NET Core Blazor application. So let's go next. XPO. I don't want authentication in this case. And let's just finish to make it like faster. And he will have to do some changes actually.
And after you finish your presentation, Jose, I want to talk about the wizard, the new things that we have in there. We have a section for Net Framework. We have a section for Net Core. We have window authentication. We have OAuth. We have a lot of great things there.
Yeah. So let's see. We have Blazor. Yes, we do. So let's close all of these and let's see what things that we need to change here. So basically, we have a problem at the moment. So Blazor was not available for version 18, as I remember, or maybe it was a really different type of application at that moment. So we need to do some changes, and I'm not going to do all of them. I'm just going to do the necessary ones. So let's go to the Blazor module or the Blazor application. It can be any of them. So let's go to this one. So we're using 21.3. So let's copy this and let's go to the module version, to the module project, sorry, and change the version. So this will be 21.3. And there is another change that we need to do. This is targeting net 462. So we need to target actually net standard 2.0.
And here is the point that we were talking about before. So Net Framework doesn't recognize Net Standard 2.1, so it have to be 2.0, and it have to be Net Framework 6+1 plus, so bigger than 6+1. And Alex put it on the chat that Microsoft is actually recommended 472.
Yeah, so actually I just do it 462 because it's the first one that is compatible in general. So now let's see. I think that we will miss something because I remember this will break when you run it. So let's see it and see what happened. So set up the startup project and then let's run this. Oh, it did run the first time. I remember that last time I did something that it breaks. So basically, now the code base from your module, like diagnostic module, is basically running in your Blazor application. So we did a complete migration. Basically, we migrate all projects. We started in version 18 actually. We migrated all of them to SDK type of project. Also, the web forms application, we did the same. It's now SDK type of project. Then we added the Blazor module and the Blazor application, and we reference or agnostic module. The only thing that we have to do in that case, we need to upgrade the version of DevExpress because there was no Blazor in version 18. So we put it to the latest version, and then we just did a change in the module that we changed the target framework to net standard. So Blazor can see that assembly. And basically that's it. I mean, this is a complete migration. We did all the projects inside of a SAF application. So if I'm going to publish those little snippet that we use in maybe in GitHub or in my blog, so you can just give it a try if you want to do it in your own application. So that's it for this demo, Javier.
Okay, I take it off from here. One thing that I want to mention as we move forward is it will be really nice if everything that you guys have encountered while using Blazor, everything that you have, like you were migrating and this was not working, you were migrating and you realized that the data source property had an issue or that we are still missing, just please put it on the chat or just unmute yourself. I would love to hear that. And also, again, that will also give Dennis some feedback of what is still really important, what is needed in your project and so on. So one thing to mention again, this is obsolete because we are moving to, instead of net standard 2 to net 5, but it's still a good article. And if you see right here is the implementation steps in a more manually way. Instead of doing like with the tool that Jose did, right here you see we pretty much create the project and we copy that project SDKs. And you can see here that is pointing to net standard 2. And you can see again is adding the package reference with all the nuggets that we need, and so on, so on. Again, if you have other nuggets, you should add the package reference for those other nuggets. If you have embedded resources in your application, make sure you don't forget to add those embedded resources, because again, in the MSF build, that's in the CS project there. And you can go and use this example where they actually have that net standard 2 platform agnostic that Jose just showed. He showed first moving to the SDK, but when you add Blazor to that recipe, you cannot use 462, so you have to move to net standard. And right here, the other part about the solution wizard that I want to talk about right now. So the first thing is pretty much let's create a new project. And let's gonna create one that is a net framework, and let's create one that is actually Blazor. But one thing that is important is before Blazor was shipping only with a template for him, just for Blazor. But now we pretty much have the choice to create WinForms and a Blazor in the same application. So it comes integrated already. So let's wait for a second, and I really like the new template gallery and the new templates that DevExpress has. So if you see here from the start, let's call this demo meetup. Hopefully I don't have a name like that. Let's create. So right here we already have the net core solution, and we have the net framework solution. So right here we can already see that we can go one way or the other one. Again, we have the visual, the C# or Visual Basic. One thing that is interesting is right now we only have one installer. Before we need to install everything from net framework, and we need to have a separate installer for net core. Right now everything comes at once. Actually, if you have a more net core, it tells you, hey, please uninstall that one. So let's run the wizard. And right here, we're going to use WinForms and ASP.NET Core, XPO as always, and let's choose authentication. And this is the standard what we're used to, but we also have right now OAuth authentication provider, and we have Windows Active Directories out of the box that I think that is pretty cool. But let's just focus normal in the standard, and let's just choose few here, like conditional appearance, reports, and let's use validation. That's it. We don't need too much. And let's wait for it. It will take just a little bit, but I like to do it this way because I like to see what is coming out of the box, what is the best practice that is being created, and then in my old projects, I go and I say check the difference, and I try to copy from here to there. Because I was telling Jose this, my first idea on how to migrate the old SAF project to the new one will be to create this brand new that already comes with everything I need, and then I will, in my agnostic module, I will copy everything that I have, all my business object, and then I will see all the agnostic controller. All agnostic controller should still work as it works on Windows, as it works on web. And then I will just focus on the platform specific controller. And then I will check, okay, this controller doesn't work yet. This controller, this module is still not there. And then I will start doing those adjustments. But again, you can go that route, but if your solution maybe is too big, you will have to go the other route. So pretty much, if we see this is brand new solution, we haven't done anything. So let's see the project file. Okay, right here in the project file already come with net5. If you see all the package reference that we need, if we see it have to copy the model in the output folder, and you have the reference to the two projects. If you look at this project file in comparison with the CS project of those other MSN build project, this is just nice. You only have here what you need. You have your target framework, you have your Nougat, and you have your project reference. Good to go. You don't need anything else. Okay, now let's see the module. It will be something really similar. We have the target framework, we have our package, and because we're not referencing any project, we don't have that, but that's it. Let's go to the Win version. Same thing, net framework, net5 for Windows. Again, all my package reference and the project, and nothing else. So what I will do, in my opinion, I will pretty much, let's create another project now for the net framework. And if I have an old project, the first thing that I will do is try to move it to a like net framework 6.1, 6.2, 7.4, that 7.2. That way I have it already in a more migrable approach. Perfect. And if you see, even if Blazor is the future, web phone is not being left behind. You still will have it there for your net framework application. So as always, let's continue. Let's choose the same conditional appearance, reports, validation. Finish. Okay, now let's see what we have here. Okay, if you see, we still have the CS project. We have still that old things. So let's say that I have this project here that I need to, and let's actually run just to make sure that it creates the database and we have it ready to go. So let me reload it. Build it. My point, if I was doing the migration and I have this net framework, I will create a brand new, like we have in the other one, and I will start copying that SDK directly to my CS project, and that should work perfectly. Then I will check the modules that I already have available for Blazor and the ones that I don't, so I can make sure that those are not giving me any conflict. Let's run it. And right here, I just added the report so we can have a navigation and we can have some boilerplate. Okay. Okay, while Darius doing that, we can see that we have the Net5 project already, the brand new, and now we're having the Net framework. So let's come back to the documentation. And by the way, Dennis, here in the documentation, these two point to the same thing. It's just the same link twice. Okay, so right here we have the support for the migration to Net5. So we can see here that what we need to have installed, we need to have the Unix installer, we need the .NET 5 SDK, we need Visual Studio 16.1, and right here it's telling you all the packages that are XAF related that we have available for us. So you know exactly that if you have the scheduler in your application, you know that you need to put that package reference to the Nougat of the scheduler. Same thing for Win. So pretty much you have your modules here in a Nougat way, so you can add it to your application. And of course, right here, you can see how to port an existing XAF application to Net5. So first thing, as always, copy and save all your CS project files. Just in case you do a complete disaster, you are able to just bring it back real quick. And then let's follow the step. So if you see, we're going to unload all the projects and we're going to replace this SDK with what we need. Let's do that. So I will put it right here. And this will be a fast again. Let's unload. And Jose was more cautious, more he had more careful. I was just pretty much, I'm going to delete all of this. Actually, let's not get crazy just in case, you know, demo bots are not always on our side. Let's put it here.
You know why I was so careful, Javier? Because it didn't work a few times.
Okay, so let's see. So we're going to put it here on the module. And let's continue. Sorry if my daughter, you can feel her in the back. She's watching Dora and getting excited. Okay, Jose, can you take over for just 2 minutes? Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
So, guys, any question about the migration? Like, feel free to write it in the chat. And also, today we're going to do a demonstration of the. We still have the audio. So today we're going to do a demonstration of the Sync framework and the new project templates. Basically, I'm going to show you, I will say, a beta version, but this is not how it will look like in the end. Basically, we will prepare all the boilerplate code for you, and we will release also the new XAF extension for the Sync framework. So basically, you just need, you can do the synchronization with the object space. The methods will be attached to the iObject space interface. So that's what we're going to show today. So let's see if we have something else in the chat. No. Okay, guys, so let's wait a little bit for the for Javier to come back and continue with the migration, because I cannot take over his computer at the moment. Otherwise, I will gladly do it. Also, if anyone wants to participate, feel free to open your microphone. Well, yes, and let's see if I can share this screen because you can use build props for your application. And I guess Adam, I will show that in when I do the sync framework demonstration. There is something that we can do to download, to downgrade all the nodes at the same time.
Hey guys, sorry. Yeah, Boots is in every episode. He's awesome. I working remotely has his good things, but it also sometimes like working with my daughter here. Sometimes it becomes it's a challenge. It's a good challenge though. Okay, let's continue. So as we were talking about, we just pretty much we are in the step where we are copying the. This is the. Let me get into the right here net framework. So right here, let's check the OLCS project just to make sure what are the DLLs that we have. So we have right here a conditional appearance, we have reports, we have a lot of things. So if we come back to the documentation, we can see what are the nuggets that we have to reference. So for example, if we need to nugget reports, we will do right here another package reference where we're going to add the reports. If we need a scheduler, if we need, so pretty much we're going to be doing that for all the reference that we need to have available in our application. So we don't make this too long. Let me see if we have here, what is the exact name of the core.all Jose was?
Hold on, let me tell you the package is one sec. For the module.
Yeah, for the diagnostic one.
Okay, is Dev Express, Express App, Core All. Yeah.
Perfect. Now let's reload that one and let's see what happens. Perfect. Okay, let's compile. Okay, of course, this is the what we were talking about, Jose. So when we're doing manually, so we need to go to our properties and we already have to just delete the assembly info because that is taken care by us in the new SDK project. So compile. And
so far so good, succeed.
So we will do the same one in the module login, and we are going to unload the project, edit the project file, come back to our documentation, and then we're going to copy the new one. And if you see, it's really, look how big this is. Right now it's just good to go. And of course, right here, we need to change the name of our project. So it will be demo made up net framework. And same here. Demo made up net framework. Perfect. And I don't see they have any package reference, so that's, I think that we need to add that one. So can you send me again now the
for
Windows?
For Win, okay. One sec. So for Windows is, well, you will have, well, Dev Express, Express App, Win All.
And I saw that there is a question about from Alan about downgrade the Nougat. So let's try it. After we finish this, let's try put it back. So let's put this. And let's delete all of this. Express App Win, Jose?
Let's see, Express App Win All. Win.all.
Win.all. Perfect. Okay, let's reload the project, run it. Okay, same thing. We forgot the assembly info every time. And let's compile. Okay, good to go. Now the last one. Come back again to documentation.
Javier, 1 second. Dennis, he dropped from the meeting and he wants to be allowed back.
Yeah, just did it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue. Let's go to the last one. Load. Right here, we're going to come back to the. And the good thing after you do that, it's so easy to go and check your CS project, what is going on there and so on. It's just beautiful. Let's come back to here. Right here will be. Load. Win. Perfect. And again. So right here, we're pretty much adding reference to the two projects, to the agnostic and to the platform specific. So let's reload. Delete the assembly info so I don't forget this time.
Well, during the last project, you always remember, right?
Yeah.
The last one.
Okay, so there are a namespace. So in this one, we need to add the Express app XPO, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do that.
There are a few, Javier. I will send it in WhatsApp if you want, just in case to have it on hand. So let's see, win application. So, okay, so let's see WhatsApp.
In the meantime, I will do something that I want to do. I'm gonna go to this demo meetup too. And pretty much, I'm gonna copy the Blazor server and the Blazor application. I'm gonna come here while Jose send me that.
It's already there.
Perfect. I'm gonna paste it. And actually, let's do a new one so we don't change the name of anything, just in case right now, because we don't have the same name, it will be. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now right here, we're going to add another item group. And right here, we're going to change to 21.1.4. So we'll check that this, yeah. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, we need to finish reading the documentation. So if you see here, we should comment this edit model permission on the main. So let's come back to our project. And let's comment that one. Let's see what we have. What else do we have in the documentation? We should add this for the, instead of the system diagnostic for the tracer. And if you're using Easy Test, you should add this as well in your CS project. And you should also add the default setting compatibility mode. So let's come back to our program. And we already have it there because this is a new solution. But if it was an old one, we should have that. So let's build now. And let's see. And it succeed. So this was the way to show how we can move from a Net framework application to a Net 5. So if we already have a net 5, we're good to go to create our Blazor app from here. So now let's create a new folder. So we don't want to and in this folder, we're going to create the new Blazor project. So I have the same name and we don't have to change that one. So and I agree completely with Alex. It will be nice that the template by default it comes in the SDK format, so we don't have to do all of those, even if it's net framework.
Yeah, but in that case, Javier, the problem will be that a lot of people have old solutions that are already that I mean you try to maintain and don't change that much. So it will be good, as you said.
But I agree, but isn't like the template side for new projects. So if you are creating a new project, where will you? Maybe I'm not seeing it. So okay, let's here. No, copy the name. So let's demo meetup net framework. So we have the same name exactly. And let's change the to this folder so it doesn't. Okay, netcore solute choose. And in this case, we're gonna do only Blazor standard, and we're going to use again the same conditional appearance, reports, and validation. And if you see that the list of modules on that wizard is growing, before when it started was just a few, and now we are getting more and more. So Blazor is getting developed fast and it's looking awesome. Okay, let's open File Explorer and just pretty much I will copy the Blazor server and the module.blazor. And let's take it to our solution, demo meetup net framework. Paste it there. And let's come back to our application. So right here now, we're gonna add a 16 project. And we're gonna select the module.blazor. And we're going to select the Blazor server. Now let's try to compile and see what's going on because it has the same name. It should detect the path of the agnostic module, but maybe it doesn't. Let me see. Let's double check what I'm missing here. So we're missing the reference to the module and to the module Blazor. And let's go to the Blazor one and add a reference to the module. Okay, let's try this again. Finger crossed, that should work. And if it does, pretty much we already have our application because right here, there is nothing, but we can add just a business class real quick, and we should be able to see it in Windows. We should be able to see it in Blazor. So let's add a new anything, just domain object one. I don't know if you guys are already using the new shortcuts for XAF. They are awesome. description. That's it. Okay, let's run Windows and then let's run Blazor. And you will see that we already have our Net Framework application converted to Net 5, and we already added a Blazor project. So pretty much we're good to go. Besides that, it's just checking our personal or own implementation. We're gonna check the models that we're using. We're gonna check if we're using a third-party Nougat. We're gonna check everything else. But pretty much we'll be good to go there. Did it fail? What happened? Let's see. Okay, what is trying? That's because we didn't put that setting on the, yeah. So let's comment this for a second, so we don't have to add it back. That happens when you don't read the documentation completely and you don't follow. We should have had this in our web config. Let's see what's going on. Demo bots are not helping me. Let me go and add it just in case. App settings, we're gonna add the key. And we're gonna delete the system diagnostic. Okay, and system diagnostic, where you are. Okay, let's try again. It's coming. They say that 3 hours of trial and error will save you 5 minutes of reading the documentation. So I wanted to just not do that, and my mistake. Okay, now it's creating the database and doing everything that we know. And as soon as that's done, we can see that we have, okay, we pretty much, let's see, we are missing domain object 1. So that means that we don't have that one. Let's see. We have the file class option, so why didn't put it on the exported type? Domain object 1. Let's run it again. So Alex, I believe that if you have like a legacy app, you will actually test it a lot before moving to Net 5. But there are so many benefits of just moving to Net 5 regarding performance, regarding new features that are coming on, regarding new language of C#, regarding new things that is definitely something to think of. So we have domain object 1 here. So again, we can create one. Doesn't matter. Good to go. Now let's run Blazor, and finger crossed this should work, and we are good to go. So if you guys have any question about the migration, if you guys have run into any issue, please just unmute your mic, just put it in the chat, and we can discuss it there. We can make this more interactive. Okay, it's coming. Getting there. New beautiful shiny UI for XAF. And again, the great thing about this, like every way of developing in XAF is still maintained. So if you develop everything in an agnostic way, the migration should be fairly simple. And here we go. Domain object 1, we have our record, we have our application in Windows and in Blazor, and good to go. Right now, again, we can use the wizard, but if you already have one, just move it to Net Standard, just move it to Net 5. Move it to Net 5, actually, that would be my recommendation, and then integrate the XAF Blazor application. You're good to go. So with that one, I think that we have done to migration from old XAF application to the new XAF Blazor. So if you guys again have any question, and actually let's do one thing. Let's try it. And I don't know if this will work. This is yours. Could I converter to 20.2? Let's see what happens. I just wanna double check that the CS project is getting updated, all the nuggets and so on. And of course, it targets Net 5, so it cannot be going back. Let me see. But yeah, because we have a web is still in 5.2, so we do. But let's check the load. Edit profile. And if you see, it correctly updated all the package reference. There are a few cases that I don't know if when we have a really huge solution and we have other projects that I have seen the project converter miss, but if you see here, it did it correctly. So not sure if that answered your question, Adam, but pretty much if not, I just do it manually in my application. I came to the CS project file and now we can edit right away and I just update those. So we still have like 40 minutes that, and we want to cover the Syn framework and the XAF REST API. But if you guys wanna, if you guys have any question or any experience to share about the migration to XAF, we'll be more happy to discuss it. Important links, I will say, is this. Even if it's obsolete, this is really nice because it's not focused only on Net 5, it's focused on Net Standard, Net Core 3.1. This is the package and everything that we need to the support for the migration from the next framework. This is actually the instruction and follow it. Don't be Javier that doesn't do it and then it gives an error. And same thing for the tool that Jose used. This is to convert your old projects file to the new files. All of those links are on my blog, so you are happy to go and see them. This is the SDK for the web project if you want to have all your projects in that beautiful and really nice SDK format. And a few other things, like again, if you are still using package.config, Visual Studio 2017 and up, they have some move from package config to package config, I think, extension. But you can also see here everything that how to go from there. Right here, there is the overview of porting Net framework to .NET, and you can see there is a lot of tools about checking the compatibility more. And I want to check, there is the .NET Upgrade Assistant, there is the Try Convert Global tool. All of those tools tell you in your application what can migrate and what cannot, and it gives you some really nice visual of what you can analyze. Again, the Net Portability Analyzer. Those are really great extensions to take a look to. And as always, every time that you're moving to any new target framework, check the breakage changes. Check if it's not going to affect your code in any way. But for the main part, we have been able to migrate a decent amount of solution with minimum usage. So I will definitely go that route if that was my decision to make. Okay, so if there is not any other question, I will jump to the XAF Blazor REST API. Meanwhile, if you guys think about another question in the middle, just let me know and we can come back to it. If you remember, Jose explained this in a video on his channel, but not only that, he actually showed it in another meetup before. So pretty much, let me comment out this attribute so we can remember how this was working, and then we will show the authentication part. Let's let it run. We have our Blazor application, and because Blazor is an ASP.NET Core, we actually have a test controller that is really neat. Pretty much what we're doing is we're getting from the query the list of property, we're getting what is the type of the object, and if we're passing any criteria. And with that one, we're creating a data view. And with that data view, pretty much we're getting all the values, serializing to JSON and returning that JSON. So let's log in our application. Okay, we'll go. We have a domain object 2. We have 2 records. And pretty much let's call. We're going to ask the property list is going to be name and description. The type is domain object 2. And if we run that, we have the data that we have from application. We have Javier, Jose, and we have those 2 here. Same thing if we put here Dave, Yamachan. We save, close it. We have 3 records. This is our REST API with all the values that we need. Now, this is still open to the public. Anyone can access any data if they know your properties, if you know your types. So how do we protect that? So pretty much we're going to protect it through JWT token. And without getting too crazy, we created this attribute. And this attribute, if we go to the attribute, pretty much what it's doing is inheriting from the action filter attribute, and right there in the executing, is taking the header, the authorization header, and it's validating the token. It's taking the payload from that token, and then it's verifying the token is valid. If it's not valid, we'll throw another unauthorized result, and you won't be able to access that information. So the service, again, it has a few methods. It's just to generate the key. It will also create or verify the token, check the claims are the same one that when it was created. And if you see over here, give me this. We have all the functionality to verify the token, to get the payload from the token, and the token, the payload, and a few other helpers things. And right here, we're generating the key and so on. Now, with that service in place, we can go to our startup. And if you see here in our startup, we are pretty much creating the token right here, but we can create the token in the login of the application. So only users that are already logging in, we can do anything that we want. But if you see, pretty much, we have the JWT service, we generate the key and we put the claims. The claims are who issued the token and when it expired, when, etc., etc., etc. We create that payload, and pretty much we are a singleton with a JWT service. So with that one, we can come here to our controller and create the authentication. So let's clear the console because we are putting the token in the console so we can copy and test it. And let's run our application again, and let's try the same thing that we tried before. And as you see, we won't be able to access our data without the proper authentication. Let's give it a second. What I like the most about this implementation is that it's so simple. If you see, there is just one class on that test controller, and that class pretty much create a data view, serialize the value, and send it back. This is beautiful. Okay, so again, we have here our application running, and we're going to do the same thing. Again, I like, instead of ID, I'm going to put the name. And right now it's giving me unauthorized. You are not able to access the data because, again, you don't have a valid token. But if we go to Postman and we create a new one, and we're going to take the same approach. Again, let's do it again here. It will give unauthorized again. unauthorized. So now let's put a header that is will be called, and we can see it on our code. Authentication, authorization. And let's pass the token that it was created, and we'll have it on our console somewhere. So let's look for it. I should just search for token, will be faster.
It should also be like really up because it's in the beginning.
Token. There is a lot of token here for all the DLL, so that didn't work. Okay. Because it's on the startup that happens. Right here, I found it. So we copy the token. And we put it on Postman now. And voila, we have all the data that we wanted. So right now, only the person with that token, and again, that token could be created in your logging in. It could be created in a separate process. That token could have all the security that we need. We can create the access token, but we can also refresh it, create a refresh token now and then. So pretty much right here, it's up to you to implement how secure you want that implementation.
Also, Javier, you should show the website, the JWT.io website, where you can paste the token and verify this is a valid token. It will show you like the public key, I think. And
so the IO and the MS both work the same. Microsoft also have an implementation, and pretty much what you do is you take the same token, so you see what are the claims that is giving you. Right here, you have again who issued everything exactly as when you created. And with that one, that's pretty much it. This was one of the requests of the SAF Blazor REST API ticket on why I think someone from Vietnam was asking for that implementation, and we're happy to be able to complete it.
We have a few comments, Javier, in the video in YouTube that people is asking like, hey, like, can you show how to implement the JWT? So this is in the repository. You can just basically download the last version and it will be there. Then you do your own implementation, right? You create your own claims and so on and so forth.
Yeah, again, it's good to mention that the project that Hoche was working on to migrate, that's already on GitHub, and this one as well is already there. So if you guys wanna use it, you are good to go. Okay, so that's pretty much on my side. If you guys have any questions or any comment or anything, happy to discuss them. If not, Hoche could do a quick twist of the Sim framework.
Okay, looking forward for this. So just give me 1 second. Before I share my screen, I want to take a picture of all you guys. And we'll take one in the end. So let's start with it. So share screen. And okay, so first I'm going to show how the project is running and then how I created the project. So basically here I have what everyone asks all the time. We get this request a lot. It's like, I want to have a SAF application, then I want to create a small summary client to use the security system from SAF and then access data offline, basically. So I used to create the projects by hand and update them by hand, and then people have to get my project from GitHub and then rename all the stuff, and that was really like, it took a lot of time. So sometimes you want to do something, you Google how to do it, and you find yourself your own article. But in this case, I found Javier's article that I read like hundreds of times before, and it was really nice to see it actually. So the idea was that, okay, I will create a SAF template that will include a Xamarin application and will include the sync server and the sync server implementation. So here is what we have so far. This new project template will create a SAF application. The SAF application is Net Core for Windows Forms. Well, Net 5 for Windows Forms. You'll see it's Net 5. And then for Blazor is also net 5. So basically it's like the new approach. We didn't include web forms in this case because we stopped supporting, like in Bitframe or Sansari, web forms like last year basically. So we don't create anything new on web forms. So beside that, we included Xamarin application. This basically is the Prism template. We created the application and we did like all the wiring needed to do a synchronization, and then we included the sync server. And this can help Adam also, because sometimes it's like kind of difficult to migrate, like, or downgrade or upgrade basically your Nougat packages. So I learned this trick from Manuel actually. The directory build props. So basically is like you have like a separate set of properties that you will use in all your projects at the same time. So in here I have a property for the DevExpress version, for the Sync framework version, and for all the auxiliary nuggets that I need from the Bit framework repository. So if I want to change them, I change one value here and I change in all the projects. And
especially also because Yamachan also have nuggets that they share with the community.
Yeah.
So every time that there is a new version, they need to update those. So this is a great version to have that.
Yeah. So I decided to include in the template because sometimes also when you have like big solutions, or we have Xamarin also, you try to update the Nougat and it's like loop back somehow, and in this it doesn't upgrade. So the easiest way is to do it like with find and replace, but sometimes you mess something else. So the directory build props is, I think, a good approach, because when we release a new version, you only have to change one number, and there you go. And if you want to go back, you change one number, and there you go, and change in all the projects. You don't have to do it one by one. So also we have the sync server, which is a really easy implementation. Basically, it's a empty .NET Core, ASP.NET Core application, and with the sync controller, and just that. And then we have like some code commented out, so you can like debug anything that you want to debug and see how it works. And if not, you just have the normal override. And also when you create this application, it fills the connection string for you in general. So basically you can do a synchronization test in like 5 minutes or less than that, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. So so this is the structure of the application so far. And let's see what else I need to show here. I have the nuggets, I have the implementation. So I think like so far so good. Basically, let's run this one time. I will show you how it works, and then we will basically create it from the scratch, which is like something like it's really simple. So okay, when you use the Xamarin Android emulator, you cannot connect to localhost. There is an article in the Microsoft help that tells you, okay, if you want to connect to localhost, connect to this IP, and this IP is being forward to localhost. I tried that several times, maybe hundreds of times, and it only works like twice. So instead of that, I'm using something called ngrok, which is basically it's a type of proxy that make a public URL for your application. So in this case, the sync server is being forward from this URL to the local host. So the Android emulator is trying to connect to this public URL and is being forwarded to the local host in here. So let's run this and see how this works actually. Actually, in this case, I'm having a multi-startup project. So it will start the Windows application, it will start the sync server, and it will start the Android application. So let's see. And in Xamarin, you have this type of errors that they never go out or away from the console, so you have to stick with them.
So, meantime, Jose, I wanted to mention that they are asking if the REST API is only for to get, not for post on everything. One of the issues on the roadmap is that the XAF will come with a web API with Swagger support and everything. So we are really looking forward to that. Let's mute
I hear that
myself.
the boss is here. Hold on, where is Sarita? Sarita, hello. Okay, so let's continue with this. So basically, we have an empty SAF application, and I include just one class, so you can like really easy test this idea. So if you go to the module, there is just a class called sync person. Full name, code, and picture. That's what we have. So if we go to the sync person here, at the moment it's empty. And if we go to the emulator, basically we can do a synchronization, and let's try to synchronize. And in this case, this will not show anything here for one reason. We don't have anything here yet. So you see that it will do the request here. Maybe it will not show because it's already full of requests. So you don't see the new records going in. So it already synchronized the first time. And what we got from the original SAF application was the security system, basically. The users and roles and so on and so forth that is created in the updater. So now that we synchronize for first time, let's create some persons here. I'm going to put this offline. So no connection to the server. And if I do create data, now we have one person here. Create data, create data, create data. We have a few persons. We refresh and this is not online. I mean, it's basically totally disconnected. So if I put this back online, and this sometimes this takes time, I cannot put it back offline. I did this before the demo and it always goes like this. And well, you know, where do you have to click in this, like in the corner? Otherwise, if you don't click in the corner, it doesn't go online. So now it's online. Still, we have nothing here. So if we synchronize, we can refresh, and here we have them. And let's create a record now here. We will create 001 and a good friend and comrade, Hector Jasmani. We save it and we close. And then let's synchronize again. Let's see. Did it finish? Let's synchronize again. And there you go. Here is Hector Jasmani. So if we do a change here, we'll basically change the code to 003 here. We save this, and then we can synchronize the data again. And there you have it. So basically, you can send it works for many scenarios for master, master slave. So the implementation of the synchronization framework is like really simple. It's just basically like 5 lines, but you need to know how your data will flow so you can create your scenarios. We have a playlist of YouTube videos on how to think about that, how you should handle that. And also the security system from SAF can really help you with that. And well, I can go again and create more records. Again, it's like so hard to put this in plain mode. There you have it. And let's create more records. And if you don't have anything, let's go back online. If we can, and there you go. Synchronize and refresh. And there we have the other people that we created in the mobile. So just let me show you the synchronization method so you can see how simple it is. For that, we should go to the view model in the mobile app. So this is what we do. This is the synchronization command. Basically, we register or XPO provider, we turn off the user configuration because in Xamarin you don't have the configuration from .NET. Then we register the types that we want to use in our application. You do this in a normal SAF application. Then you create a database connection for the data itself and for the deltas, which are the difference that exists between the master database and the local database. Then you create a connection string for the synchronization framework. And then you create a sync helper. This sync helper in this case is in the Xamarin application, but in the next version of the sync framework, this will be an extension, so you don't have to write it anyway. It's already compiled in the sync framework. So in here, you pass the connection string, and then you pass the URL where the sync server is running, and you pass the types that you want to register. And then in this case, we're doing a synchronization, and also we are logging as admin in SAF, because this sync helper, which creates unit of works, if we go and check the code, I got this from the official example of Developer Express, where they show how to use SAF security system in non-SAF applications. So if you go to the sync helper, you will see like this method login. And in this method, you see there's the authentication. You get the standard login parameters. You pass the login and password. And then with that, you create an object space. And it's basically a secure object space. So here you have an init security. Basically, you initialize the strategy. You tell it which one is the application user and which are the application role and which authentication it will use, the registration of the types. And basically, that's it. And here you have it. When we init XPO, the object space provider that we're creating is the secure object space provider. So it's the one who takes in account the users and roles from SAF. So in the next version, because this is an experimental version, we have include several versions of the sync helper. One is just for use XPO directly without security system or anything. One is to use SAF without a secure object space, or it's a simple object space, because maybe you want to share some code with the SAF application. And in SAF, you usually instances objects with the object space. So you don't have to change anything in that sense. And then we have the secure sync helper, which use the secure object space provider from SAF and taking account the username and role for that user. And that's, so I mean, so far so good in this sense. So let me show you how you make something like this. So let me stop this. And actually, so let's go here to the folder, and that's the demo that we had. So we're going to do Meetup demo 2. So now that we are here, basically there are a few steps that you need to follow. This is going to be removed in the end because it's just an experiment. So we will not continue growing this idea. We will release the official version, I think, by the end of next week. So you will have several templates, more than the ones that I will show you right now. So the requirements for this is that you have to have the Nougat feed for the official Developer Express Nougat feed that you have in your profile. So here is the documentation on how to add it and how to find it. So also you need to add the Nougat source to the .NET infrastructure, the CLI basically. So I think like here is an example of that. So see, the requirements is you have to have set up your Nougat feed from Developer Express, then the information on how to add a Nougat feed actually to your .NET infrastructure. Then this is the command that you need to run to add or Nougat feed to the .NET infrastructure. And after that, if you want to install the template, if you have the Nougat package on hand, you can do something like this. But to create a project and to do all that boilerplate code, you just need to run this line. So let's run it. And it's not this one, is this other console here. And no, it's not none of them. So let's go to the, it should be this one. No. Okay, demo 2. So let's do CMD. So we are in the console and we're in the demo, Meetup demo 2 folder. Just write this and then Meetup demo 2. So we hit enter, and this will create all the boilerplate code for you. And see what took like 1 second. So if you go here, you will find the XAF application, which include desktop and for Net5 and Blazor, and the Submarine application, and also the directory build properties. And
isn't that awesome, Jose? Remember when we have to do the templates
yeah.
for Visual Studio instead of here, and it was just so cumbersome.
Yeah, and the other template engine, Javier, was like really difficult to handle. So I'm really happy about your article. That helped me a lot.
It is amazing. It is really nice. So if you guys want to see more, Jose has the complete video and implementation on his YouTube channel. You can also contact us or just send him an email and he will be more happy to walk you through all of this. This is amazing. And if you guys have been reading on the chat, then is validate that one of the plans that XAF has, and I'm going to repeat this, is an API that exposes all your ORM, but it's not only for all the crew get posts on, it's also for authentication, it's also for logging and so on. And I believe that will be amazing. We will have our WinForms, we will have our Blazor, we will have Blazor for mobile, and we also will have our REST API if we need to do something like a native, like Xamarin. We will have the API to interact. With that in there, Jose, I don't know if you are already finished, but we want to give a little time so Dennis can share some.
If you give me just one second, because I just want to show like what I created with the command is exactly the same that I show. So basically, you have the XAF application. The XAF application is WinWeb. Also, it includes also the variables, so you can update everything from the directory build props. And include the Submarine application and all the namespaces and the structure of the folders, name them, match the name that you created. So it's like in 1 second, you just need to come here, basically to the view models, go to the sync test view model, and just fill the URL here. I have that in more detail in a video. And you just start an nrock tunnel. You get the URL, and then you paste it here, and you're good to give a try like in 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes. So when we publish the official version of these templates, we'll create a video, because we want to create a template for just XAF with a sync framework, XAF with the sync framework and the mobile. And since it's so easy to create projects like this, we will do a few scenarios like already built in for you, so you can just give it a try like really easy. And basically that's it for this demonstration, guys. I hope you like it, and if you have any questions, you feel free to write Javier, and or just post the questions in the Facebook group. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, Dennis, the screen is all yours.
Okay, thank you. Let me share. Can you see anything?
Not yet, but yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Dennis. I'm a product manager at DevExpress. I run multiple teams like XAF, Xamarin, Maui, installation, Nougat, etc. Today, I just wanted to quickly demonstrate a few new features my teams are working on. And I will start with XAF roadmap for this year. As Jose mentioned earlier, a lot of things are already implemented, and I will just focus on 2 items. This is about dashboards module. I just wanted to quickly show a screenshot from Trello that my devs just shared today. We hired 2 new developers in St. Petersburg, and this is the first result. As you can see, we have supported the dashboard viewer and also designer that the Blazor team added in the last release. You know that we already shared an example in the Supper Center, and in this Supper Center ticket, you can see a basic implementation. A basic, I mean, it's it just gets a custom Razor component, adds a dashboard viewer inside, and just shows it navigates to this custom page. In our built-in implementation, we are making it exactly like in WinForms and web forms. I mean, you can easily use XPO or entity framework for data access. Your data will also be protected by our security system, so it's complete implementation like you. I hope you loved it in WinForms and WebForms. Well, next I wanted to demonstrate a quick and hopefully useful feature for developers. It's activated in debug mode. This is a new action, a new menu command that allows you to quickly navigate to a view or a class node or a validation node for a particular object. For instance, here you can see that I have an employee detail view opened. So I can click, for example, view, then wait a bit. And you may notice that the model editor opened and focused exactly this node. If I close the model editor and return back to my application, I can also try this with class node, and it should go to the class node, of course. This is WinForms only feature, but I hope you will like it, because we know that during development you have to go back to model editor quite often. While I'm in the model editor, I wanted to quickly share a few minor additions, like in the, let me move this out. In the next version, minor version, we made it, sorry, I'll move this here. We made many properties that are drop-down boxes. We made them editable. So sometimes it's not convenient to use mouse or search, and sometimes you just want to copy and paste some specific value. So you can do this now for many properties, like default focused item, like lookup property. It's for, unless I'm mistaken, it's here. So you can type here anything, and for many other properties I don't remember already. There is a dozen of them. So I hope you will like it too. Any questions, maybe?
I don't have a question, but I will say a few things. Like the dashboard things, it has been one of the requests that we have got the most. Everyone wants to have the dashboard in SAF Blazor, and this is amazing that we already have something there out of the box without having to use, like, starting to use actually the API from the Blazor component. The viewing model, I remember I used to work in a company that they used to have an ERP with SAF, and the administration people was not a developer. So every time that he have to do something on the model, he will always lose. Where is the view that I'm working on? I did not change the right one. Where is that? So just to be able to just right away go directly to that view, that will be a huge time saver for like people that are supporting and maintaining all those Windows applications. So this is amazing. And personally, for myself, I think that the DevExpress having those MAUI control now for free, and now that this is still on preview, and now that's really good. So there is not a question, just my comment.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. Yeah, it's my last item. As you probably know, in February, we made our Xamarin UI controls free for everybody because, you know, .NET multi-platform application UI is coming at the end of this year. So you can register and get your Nougat feed. I am already registered, but trust me, you can click these buttons and get your link to Nougat feed for free. Also, we are starting to roll out first previews for MAUI UI controls. Last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, we showed the first controls like data grid, charts. So you can try if you are try them if you are interested in this new platform. Here we have some frequently asked questions. If you are interested about conditions, it's also free. Also some survey. And of course, we hope to keep these previews coming every 3 to 4 weeks, exactly like Microsoft does this. That's it. Maybe if you have any questions.
Dennis, Dave has a question on the chat about if there was a reason on the view model, in the view in the model action, instead of using the actual action that is already there, edit model, and turning it into a single choice action with those options. It was a reason for that, or just?
Yeah, there is also there is always a reason. You know, first, this action is a simple action. I mean, existing edit model. If we change it to single choice action, it will be a breaking change. You know, some people are relying on this API, so we have to make a separate comment.
Got it. So I'm for one, I'm really excited about all the MAUI development that is coming. So that will be, especially with MAUI Blazor, I think that the possibilities are going to be really good, especially with sharing components with XAF, sharing component with MAUI Blazor, and let's see what the future holds, but it looks really promising. I really like that.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I think that we actually hit the 2 hours mark exactly. If you guys have any questions, put it in the chat or just unmute. And as always, Jose will ask everyone to put their camera for a second so he can take a picture. So if you feel comfortable doing that, please go for it. And thank you for joining us. I really enjoy this third Thursday every month. It's like a vacation, and I can't wait for this moment just to talk to you guys about SAF and technology in general. So thank you for coming. Thank you, Dennis, as always. And Jose, all yours. You're on mute. You are still on mute, Jose.
Okay, pictures are done. You can find them in the Facebook group. And let's take another one before we leave. Good. Bye, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.